The 76ers have gotten off to a nice start to the 2025 season. They are 5-3, with both of their first two losses being by 2 points or less. Rookie VJ Edgecombe has burst onto the scene and is looking to be the favorite Rookie of the Year candidate. They are stacked at the guard position and finally have backup centers that can play behind Joel Embiid. Obviously, we are still figuring out what this group can become, but I've seen a lot of promising things early on with this squad. Is this Sixers team actually good? Can they make it back to the playoffs this season? Or is this all just a fluke to start the new year? Make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's get right into the video. Going into the 2025 season, fans weren't sure what to think of this team. The health status of Joel Embiid and Paul George was up in the air, Quentin Grimes wasn't re-signed until right before training camp, and things were just questionable in Philadelphia. They opened the 2025 season against the Boston Celtics with a comeback victory where they outscored Boston by 12 in the fourth quarter to win by 1 point. Edgecombe dropped 34 points and 7 rebounds in his NBA debut, the second most in an NBA debut in history, trailing only Wilt Chamberlain. The best part was, he wasn't even player of the game. Tyrese Maxey put on a show, dropping 40 points in 41 minutes of action. These two gave us a glimpse of how good the Sixers backcourt can truly be. The only question was, is it sustainable? In their second game against the Charlotte Hornets, Maxey and Edgecombe both played 40 minutes, but they didn't have the same offensive output. Maxey was 28, 9, and 6, while Edgecombe was 15, 8, and 6. Not as good as the game against Boston, but still respectable numbers by the young backcourt. After starting 2-0, they would face the Orlando Magic, where Maxey went off again for 43 points, while Edgecombe put up 26 of his own. Nobody expected the Sixers to get off to a 3-0 start to the season, but they were firing on all cylinders and were looking good. All of the storylines were centered around the Sixers' young backcourt and how they were becoming one of the best in the league. Maxey and Edgecombe are obviously playing at elite levels, but with Grimes coming off the bench, they were looking stacked. Not to mention, Jared McCain just returned from his injury after almost a year. Last year, before tearing his ACL, McCain was the favorite to win Rookie of the Year in the league. This gives the Sixers 4 guards who can play at such a high level like this. After starting off the season 3-0, they would head to Washington to face a weak Wizards team. The Sixers, like they did in 2 of their first 3 games of the season, trailed by double digits in the fourth quarter, but this team just doesn't seem to give up. They battled back and pushed the game into overtime, eventually beating the Wizards with great defense down the stretch. Since starting off 4-0, Philly has dropped 3 of their last 4, but in my eyes, this isn't a huge issue. Their first 2 losses were close games, the first being the almost comeback against the Celtics, and the second being the 24-point comeback from the Bulls. The game against the Bulls was terrible down the stretch. Philly was outscored 57-36 in the second half, and Nick Nurse didn't draw up the best game plan. Their most recent loss came in a game against Cleveland where they lost by double digits, aided by a poor third quarter and a 46-point night by Donovan Mitchell. The Sixers were also without Joel Embiid and Jared McCain in this game. Sitting at 5-3, it begs the question, how good are the Philadelphia 76ers actually? They started out great, but they've shown some of their weaknesses in recent games. Joel Embiid is a shell of his former self, Maxey and Edgecombe appear to be playing too many minutes, and Nick Nurse hasn't been at his best. What's there to make of this Sixers team? Let's take a look into some of the key specifics that stand out to me. The first is Joel Embiid. I'm a huge Joel Embiid fan, and I think he's vital to the success of this franchise. But he doesn't look like himself so far this year. He's putting up respectable stats on a minutes restriction, averaging 17.8, 3.2, and 5.4 on 22.8 minutes per game. His offensive production is not a huge worry of mine. The worries with Embiid come from the things that don't show up on the stat sheet. His defense looks terrible to start the season, and that's because of his injury. He can't jump, run, or move the way he used to, and it is playing dividends on the defensive side of the ball. Because of this, he is getting beaten by defenders driving to the paint as well as trying to get rebounds. The underrated aspect of Joel Embiid's game in his career has always been his defense. Everyone knows he was always elite on the offensive end, but his defense is also elite and crucial to the Sixers team. This leads me to a couple of questions. Is Joel Embiid still hurting on the court? If he is hurting at all, I don't think he should be playing. We need him at his best, and if he's risking another injury, he should just be on the bench for now until he's 100% healthy. The other scenario could be he just needs some time to get used to playing again. Before training camp, it was a while before he had played, so he just needs a couple of weeks to get back to himself, and once he gets off his minutes restriction, we will see the real Embiid back on the court. This is the more likely scenario and the one that I hope is the case. Let me know what you guys think. Another thing I wanted to touch on is Nick Nurse and the minutes distribution of his players. Out of the top 5 players in minutes per game across the NBA, the Sixers have 3 players on this list. Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe at 1 and 2 respectively, and Kelly Oubre at 4. Obviously, this could be in part due to the injuries of Jared McCain and Paul George, and their minutes will go down when they come back. But the Sixers' depth this year is better than in years past, so why are they leaning so heavily on the top guys? They also have to keep in mind of the health of both Maxey and Edgecombe. Yeah, they are great when they are on the court, but they need to be healthy for 82 games this season, plus the playoffs if necessary. Last year, the Sixers played most of the season without their big three, and we saw how ugly that was. That was in large part due to the workload those guys had to take on. The team last year didn't have as much depth as they do now this year. The stars shouldn't have to carry the same weight on their backs as they had to last year. Maxey's playing an absurd amount of minutes, and after sustaining a hamstring injury last season, the Sixers have to be more careful with him going forward. Losing him would be detrimental to the season. VJ Edgecombe is also playing the most minutes of any rookie since Michael Jordan. The backcourt should be the focal point of this offense, but they shouldn't have to rely on it for every minute of the game. They can afford to lose some games early on if it means the stars stay healthy for the entirety of the season. I've seen a lot of great things out of the 76ers so far. I am impressed with how they have come out of the games and have played really well. Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe are obviously becoming one of the league's best backcourts, but the supporting cast has come out strong as well. Kelly Oubre has been such a bright spot for the Sixers, and he is filling Paul George's absence extremely well. He's averaging almost 20 points a game on 52.4% shooting. Quentin Grimes has also been solid, averaging almost 20 points with a three-point percentage of 38.5. I am also interested to see the impact that Dominic Barlow makes when he returns, as in his 2 games so far this season, he has been a bright spot for the Sixers. What has also stood out to me is the backup center play behind Joel Embiid. It feels like for the first time in a while, the Sixers have good centers that can be on the court and succeed when Embiid is not on the floor. Andre Drummond and Adem Bona have been great backups, especially on the defensive end. Drummond leads the team in rebounds at 7.6 on 16.7 minutes per game, while Bona leads the team with 1.6 blocks on 16.9 minutes per game. These are impressive numbers by the 2 backup big men. Them being able to play at a high level like this will give Embiid more rest time throughout the year, which will keep him fresh and hopefully stay healthy. We've talked about the good and we've talked about the bad. The question still remains, how good are the Philadelphia 76ers actually? The answer is I think they are a good team, but they have work to do. There are still questions to be answered with them, but there are questions that I think they will be able to answer the right way. With the East being wide open this year, the Sixers have a chance to make a lot of noise. When fully healthy, they can battle with a lot of these teams. I still don't think they are as strong yet as teams like the Knicks, Cavs, or Pistons, but they can compete against them. They have a legitimate shot to be a top 4 or top 5 team in the East 1 year after being 13th. We have to give the Sixers credit for their strong play to start the year. They're playing some exciting games, and hopefully their retooling process ends up being shorter than what we thought it was going to be. I, for one, am very excited to watch the Sixers play this year, and I think that all of you should be too. Let me know what you think about the 76ers, and if you believe they can make it back to the playoffs this year. Like this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you like all things Philly sports. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.